His palm cracked against my cheek, sharp, hot, fast. My head snapped sideways. The taste of copper filled my mouth, blood where my teeth cut deep. I stood frozen, one hand rising slowly to my burning face. The kitchen spun. Sloane's cigarette smoke, a cruel ghost between us. My son, Deacon. He hit me. The boy I'd raised alone in a cramped Columbus apartment, double shifts, silent sacrifice, while his father drank himself to an early grave. College tuition paid from coffee cans hidden in my closet. That boy, my boy, just struck his own mother. "Maybe now you'll learn to keep quiet," he said, his voice flat and cold. Cold, as if I were nothing, a stain on his perfect kitchen floor. I couldn't speak, couldn't move. My lungs burned, chest tight. I'd only asked one simple thing. The doctor said my lungs were dying, emphysema. It didn't care about her house, her rules, her expensive cigarettes, more costly than my disability check. Sloane laughed. Not a loud laugh, a quiet, satisfied sound. A smirk curled her lips as she took another drag. Her yoga pants, I imagined, cost my week's factory wages. Her ponytail is perfect, not a hair out of place, not a care in her world. Deacon turned from me, walked to her, kissed her forehead as if nothing had happened, as if he hadn't just made his 73-year-old mother bleed. "Dinner out tonight?" he asked. "Perfect," Sloane purred. She stubbed her cigarette on a plate I had washed that morning. My hands still smelled of dish soap. They left 15 minutes later, Deacon's arm around Sloane's waist, her laughter, a fading echo. The car started, engine purring. They drove away in their Mercedes, a car worth more than my 5 years of labor. The house went silent, save my ragged breathing, each inhale a swallow of broken glass. I walked to the guest room, not my room, their guest room, decorated in whites and grays, cold, sterile, a hospital waiting room where hope dies. I sat on the bed's edge. The mattress, too soft, too expensive. 6 months here, never comfortable. My phone lay on the nightstand beside Deacon's graduation photo, his proud smile, my arm around his shoulders. That was real, wasn't it? Love, once alive. My hand shook as I picked up the phone. My cheek throbbed, swelling beneath my touch. Tomorrow, a bruise, a handprint, evidence. I scrolled through contacts, names I hadn't called in years, people who owed me, people who remembered when I was strong, when I had power, not invisible. My finger hovered over Marcus Chen. 20 years ago, I helped him when his wife left, when he was drowning. I believed in him. Now he's one of Ohio's top elder abuse attorneys. I pressed call. He answered on the second ring. "Loretta, is that you?" My voice came out broken. "Marcus, I need help." He listened. The slap, the smoking, 6 months of quiet humiliation, the $400 monthly from my $1,100 disability check. His voice hardened, steel cold. "Don't move anything. Don't change anything. We're building a case." I made 2 more calls. Rhonda Washington, childhood friend, investigative journalist. She owed me for the year I nursed her dying mother through college. Then Vincent Torres, Deacon's old college roommate. I practically raised him. He still calls me Mama Loretta. Now a forensic accountant specializing in financial abuse. By the 3rd call's end, I heard their car, Sloane's laughter, Deacon's rumble. They were happy, full of wine and good food. I looked in the mirror. The handprint on my cheek glowed red, angry, undeniable. I smiled. Let them laugh tonight. Let them think I was weak, broken. Tomorrow, everything would change. My life had taught me about survival. I was 17 when I met Jimmy Patterson, Deacon's father. Handsome, dangerous, a young girl's mistake for excitement. He worked construction, drank away every shift, promised the world with a smile. I got pregnant 3 months after we married. He celebrated by getting drunk. Deacon was born a perfect, screaming 7 pounds. Jimmy arrived 6 hours late, smelling of whiskey and excuses. We lived in a thin-walled apartment on Columbus's east side. Sirens wailed nightly, but it was ours. I took a job at Morrison Textile Factory when Deacon was 6 months old. Second shift. Jimmy promised to watch him. Most nights I came home to Deacon crying, full diaper, empty bottle, and Jimmy passed out on the couch. 40 hours a week, sometimes 60 with overtime. My feet swelled, my hands cracked from chemicals, my lungs filled with cotton fibers and secondhand smoke from 300 workers. But I had my coffee can. Hidden behind winter coats, behind boxes of Deacon's baby clothes I couldn't discard. Every paycheck, $20. Sometimes 10, sometimes 5 when Jimmy's drinking worsened. On Deacon's first day of kindergarten, I packed a good turkey sandwich, not the rubbery bologna. I ate ramen noodles that week. 49 cents a package. Jimmy died when Deacon was 12. Liver failure. The doctor, almost impressed, said he lasted too long. Neither Deacon nor I cried at the funeral. We stood in borrowed black, watching a man we barely knew being lowered into the ground. Life grew quieter after that. No more yelling, no more broken promises, no more lies. I picked up extra shifts, weekends, and holidays. The coffee can be filled faster. 1 became 2, 2 became 3. Deacon played basketball in high school, point guard, fast, smart, good enough to dream of college scholarships. I went to every game, thermos in hand, aching feet, cheered until my voice was hoarse. The scholarship didn't materialize. His grades, good, not great. His game, strong, not strong enough. After his final game, I pulled out the coffee cans. $17,000. 17 years of sacrifice. Skipped meals, worn shoes, winters without heat to save that money. I paid for his college, 4 years. Tuition, books, housing, everything. Deacon graduated in finance, secured a job at a big Columbus firm. Suits, nice car, women with degrees, and perfect teeth. He met Sloan at a pharmaceutical conference. She sold medical devices. 6 figures, BMW, downtown apartment with a view. They married 2 years later. I wore a Goodwill dress, sat in the 3rd row, smiled for pictures. They bought a house in the suburbs, 3-car garage, granite countertops, a lawn mowed by someone else. They visited twice a year, Christmas, my birthday, like clockwork, like obligation. I told myself it was enough. He was busy, important, and successful. I had done my job, given him a future. Then, the doctor's appointment. Everything changed. The cough started 6 months before I called Deacon for help. A small tickle, then deeper, wetter. I'd cough until I couldn't breathe, until black spots danced in my vision, until I thought I might die on my apartment floor. The young doctor, with kind, sad eyes, said, "Emphysema." The word hung in the air like smoke. "Your lungs are deteriorating, damaged beyond repair." "But I never smoked," I whispered. "Secondhand smoke, environmental exposure, 30 years in a textile factory." I nodded. Cotton fibers, chemicals, cigarette smoke. "Your lungs have been under assault for decades." She spoke of inhalers, oxygen tanks, chronic, progressive. She did not say curable. The treatments were expensive. My insurance covered some, but not enough. My savings were gone, given to Deacon for his education, his future. I couldn't work. The factory let me go. Disability checks began. $1,100 a month. Rent was $700. Utilities, $150. Medicine, $200. The math didn't work. I tried. God, I tried. 1 meal a day, skipped medications, sat in the dark, wore sweaters in winter instead of heat. My landlord wanted his money. The utility company didn't care about my lungs. The pharmacy wouldn't fill without payment. 3 months. Then I called Deacon. The phone felt heavy. Shame burned in my chest, hotter than any cough. "I need help," I said. Silence. Long enough, I thought he'd hung up. "What kind of help?" His voice, careful, guarded. I can't afford my apartment. The doctor says I need treatments. I was wondering. I couldn't finish. You want to move in with us? Not a question, a statement. Flat. Heavy. Just temporarily, until I figure something out. More silence. Let me talk to Sloan. He called back 3 hours later. Okay, you can stay in the guest room. Relief washed over me. Thank you. I'll pay rent. I'll help. I won't be any trouble. We'll talk details when you get here. He hung up before I could say, I love you. I moved in on that Saturday in May. Everything I owned fit in 2 suitcases and 3 boxes. Deacon didn't help me pack. Didn't come to my apartment. Just gave me the address. The house was beautiful. Magazine beautiful. White siding, black shutters. A porch with rocking chairs that looked untouched. Sloan answered the door. White jeans, silk blouse, perfect makeup. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. Loretta, come in. She stepped aside. No offer to help with suitcases. Inside, impressive. Hardwood floors, high ceilings, white and gray. Spotless. A museum, not a home. The guest room is upstairs, second door on the right, Sloan gestured. Deacon's at the office. He'll be home around 6. I dragged my suitcases up the stairs. My lungs burned. Legs trembled. I stopped twice, catching my breath. The guest room. Whites, grays. Queen bed, too many pillows. Dresser, nightstand. A single window overlooking the yard. Coordinated. Cold. My worn, faded clothes looked shabby in the expensive dresser. Poor. Sloan appeared in the doorway, arms crossed. We need to go over some house rules. I turned. Of course. The main bathroom is ours. Use the half bath by the laundry. Don't come downstairs before 9 on weekends. We like privacy. Don't touch the thermostat. And we'll need $400 a month for household expenses. $400. More than a third of my disability check. That seems like a lot, I said carefully. Her smile sharpened. You're using our water, our electricity, our space. $400 is more than fair. What could I say? Nowhere else to go. Okay, great. First payment due Monday. She pushed off the door frame. Oh, and try to keep your medical equipment in your room, nebulizer and stuff. It's depressing to look at. She walked away. I sat on the bed. Deacon's graduation photograph. I'd placed it there first, before clothes, before medications. That boy in the picture looked so happy, so proud, so loved. I didn't recognize him anymore. The first month, I tried to be useful. Cooked dinner, cleaned bathrooms, did laundry, vacuumed. Sloan complained about everything. Food too salty, too bland, too ethnic, wrong cleaning products, streaks on mirrors, folded towels wrong. I started doing less, staying in my room more, making myself invisible. Deacon came home at 6:30, kissed Sloan, poured bourbon, disappeared into his office. Sometimes I tried to talk. My day, a book, cardinals outside my window. That's nice, Mom, he'd say. His eyes never left his phone. No interest, no warmth, no love. I stopped trying. Sloan worsened. She'd wrinkle her nose when I entered a room, make comments about old people's smells, about feeling cramped, about overheard conversations. I started showering twice, sometimes thrice a day, washing my clothes constantly, so much soap that my hands cracked. My water bill, which I paid them for, went up. Sloan complained. They went out often, fancy restaurants, wine tastings, weekend trips to Chicago, New York, and Miami. I stayed home, ate microwave dinners alone in my room, tried not to exist too loudly. Physical therapy twice a week, exercises to keep my lungs working, to keep me mobile, to keep me alive a little longer. The first time I asked Deacon for a ride, he sighed. Long. Heavy. As if I'd asked for a kidney. I have meetings all day, Mom. It's just 20 minutes. Appointment at 2. Fine. Be ready at 1:30 exactly. I can't be late. He drove in silence. Jazz on the radio. Jaw tight. Hands gripping the wheel. Angry. At the therapist's office, he stayed in the car, engine running. When I came out, sweating and exhausted, he didn't ask how it went. Next appointment, a last-minute text. "Can't make it. Take an Uber." I had no money for an Uber, already given them $400, plus $50 for groceries, plus my portion of the water bill Sloan claimed was too high. I took the bus. It was late. I stood for 20 minutes. Chest ached. Legs trembled. All seats were full. I stood for 40 minutes, clinging to a pole, trying to breathe, trying not to cough, trying not to pass out. The therapy session was harder. My muscles wouldn't cooperate. Lungs wouldn't expand. The therapist kept asking if I was okay. I lied. Said yes. The bus ride home was worse. Rush hour. Packed. Hot. Someone's cologne made my throat close. I coughed until I tasted blood. By the time I reached the house, it was 6. Barely walked. Hands shook as I unlocked the door. My inhaler. Upstairs. In my room. I needed it. Needed air. Needed to breathe. I made it to the kitchen, leaned against the counter, fumbled with my inhaler. 2 puffs. Wait. 2 more. My chest loosened. Slowly. So slowly. That's when Sloan walked in. Yoga pants, designer tank top, perfect ponytail, fresh, rested, beautiful. She went to the cabinet, pulled out cigarettes, lit one, right there. The smoke hit me like a fist. My throat closed. I started coughing, deep, wet, painful. Ribs felt like they were breaking. "Sloan," my voice, a whisper, a plea. "Could you, please, do not smoke in here. My lungs." She took another drag, blew blue smoke my way. It drifted around my face. "It's my house, Loretta. I'll smoke where I want." My chest was on fire. I couldn't get air. Each breath, drowning. "Please," I begged. Hated myself for begging. I can't breathe." "Then go to your room." She flicked ash into the sink. My clean sink, the one I'd scrubbed that morning. I stood up, held the counter with both hands. "Just for a minute, please. I need the front door opened." Deacon walked in, loosening his tie, briefcase in hand. He took in the scene. Me, hunched, Sloan, cigarette, smoke, a curse in the air. "What's going on?" Tired, annoyed. Sloan gestured with her cigarette, as if I were the problem. "Your mother is complaining again." A cough cut me off, deep, rattling. "I just asked if she could smoke outside because my lungs—" "Shut up!" The words cracked through the kitchen like a gunshot. I froze. Deacon had never spoken to me like that. Never. Not even as a teenager. Not even when his father died. He crossed the space in 3 strides, face red, twisted, ugly with rage. "You stink worse than smoke. Every day it's something. Always sick, always needing, always problems. Deacon—" His palm connected with my cheek before I could finish. Sharp, fast, hard. Pain exploded across my face. Head snapped. Vision white, then black, then white. Copper, blood. My teeth cut the inside of my cheek. Warm, metallic, real. I stood there frozen, hand rising to my face. The skin burned, throbbed, swelling already. Sloan laughed, quiet, satisfied, a smirk. Another drag. She watched me, like entertainment. "Maybe now you'll learn to keep quiet," Deacon said. His voice was cold, flat, empty of love, regret, humanity. He turned from me, walked to Sloan, kissed her forehead, gentle, tender. Everything he refused was his own mother. "Dinner out tonight?" he asked her. "Perfect," Sloan purred. She stubbed out her cigarette. On a plate, the white ceramic with blue flowers, the one I'd washed that morning, dried carefully, put away. They left 15 minutes later. I stood in the kitchen, hands still pressed to my burning cheek, watching them go. Deacon's arm around Sloan's waist, laughing, driving away, in their expensive car, with their expensive lives. The house is silent, just my breathing, ragged, painful, broken. I walked to my room, sat on the bed's edge. Deacon's graduation photo stared from the nightstand. His smile, my arm. That moment had been real. That love had existed. But it was dead now. Dead as his father. Dead as my lungs. Dead as whatever part of me believed family was everything. My phone lay on the nightstand. I picked it up. My hands shook. My cheek throbbed. But my mind was clear. Clearer than it had been in 6 months. I scrolled, found the first name, pressed call. Marcus Chen answered on the second ring. Loretta? Marcus, I need help. The guest room was dark when I finished the third call. My cheek had stopped throbbing. Now it just ached, a dull, steady pain matching my heartbeat. I heard their car pull into the driveway. The garage door rumbled open. Sloane's laughter, high and bright. Deacon's voice rumbled beneath it. They were happy, relaxed, full of wine and expensive food, while I sat here bleeding in their house. I didn't move. Their footsteps on the stairs. They passed my room. Sloane said something I couldn't hear. Deacon laughed. Their bedroom door closed. I waited. 20 minutes. Water running. Their shower. Then silence. I picked up my phone again, opened my photos, scrolled back through 6 months of documentation. I'd collected it without knowing why. Photos of the guest room, ceiling cracks, the window that didn't lock, the tiny bathroom, mold in the corner, and poor ventilation. Receipts, $400 monthly for household expenses, the $50 water bill, the $75 for groceries, the $100 for electricity. Photos of my medications, the ones I was supposed to take daily, the ones I skipped, unable to afford refills. Bank statements, $1,100 in, $800 out. Just to exist in their guest room, to breathe their air. I documented everything, every payment, every humiliation, every wrinkled nose from Sloane, every time Deacon looked through me. I didn't know I was building a case. I thought I was just keeping track, trying to make sense of this life. Now the photos looked different. They looked like evidence. Marcus had said not to move anything, not to change anything. Let them think everything was normal. So I got ready for bed, brushed my teeth in the tiny bathroom, took the medications I could still afford, changed into my nightgown. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, counted the cracks. 27. I knew each one by memory. My phone buzzed, a text from Marcus. Met with my partner. We're taking the case. Don't engage. Don't mention anything. Act normal. We'll be there tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. sharp. I typed back, thank you. Another buzz. Rhonda. I'm bringing a photographer. Visual evidence. Also contacted Adult Protective Services. Investigator coming. This is big, Loretta. Really big. Then Vincent. Mama Loretta, I pulled Deacon's financials. You won't believe what I found. He's been lying to you about everything. See you tomorrow. I set my phone down, turned off the lamp, lie in the darkness. Tomorrow. Everything changes tomorrow. But tonight, I was still just an old woman in a cold room with a handprint on her cheek, and a son who stopped loving her so long ago she couldn't remember when. My chest tightened, not from emphysema, from grief, from rage, both. I closed my eyes but didn't sleep, counted the hours until morning, until Marcus Chen arrived with his briefcase, his law degree, his memory of the woman who believed in him, until Rhonda Washington showed up with her camera, her notebook, her debt to the woman who held her mother's hand, until Vincent Torres walked through that door and saw what Deacon had become, what he'd done to the woman who raised them both. I counted the hours. I waited. Morning came slowly. Gray light crept through the window. I'd been awake all night, counting cracks, listening to my lungs. At 7, I heard movement. their shower, Deacon's electric toothbrush. Normal sounds, as if yesterday hadn't happened, as if he hadn't struck his mother. I got up. My body ached. My cheek was swollen. The handprint was still there, purple now, angry, clear. The shape of his fingers is visible on my skin. I took a photo, added it to my collection. Showered, dressed in clean clothes, put on the cardigan Deacon bought me 3 years ago, back when he still pretended to care. At 8, I went downstairs. They were in the kitchen. Deacon drank coffee, scrolling. Sloane ate yogurt, reading her tablet. They didn't look up. "Good morning," I said. My voice was normal, steady. "Morning," Deacon muttered. Still no eye contact. Sloane said nothing. I poured myself coffee. My hands didn't shake. I'd had all night to prepare, to be calm, to be normal. I sat at the kitchen table, the same spot where I stood yesterday when he hit me. I sipped my coffee, waited. At exactly 9, the doorbell rang. Deacon looked up, frowned. "Are you expecting someone?" I set down my cup. "Yes." Sloane's head snapped towards me. "What?" The doorbell rang again. I stood, walked to the door. My legs felt strong, stronger than in months. I opened the door. Marcus Chen stood on the porch, tall, professional, a suit that likely cost more than Deacon's, leather briefcase, his expression granite. "Good morning, Loretta." His voice was gentle to me. Then he looked past me, into the house. His voice changed, cold, hard. "Mr. Patterson, Mrs. Patterson, my name is Marcus Chen. I'm an attorney specializing in elder abuse cases. May I come in?" Deacon appeared behind me, his face pale. I called for help. My voice didn't waver. "What you did yesterday was assault. What you've been doing for 6 months is financial exploitation and emotional abuse." Marcus stepped inside, uninvited, unwanted. He set his briefcase on the entry table, opened it, pulled out a folder. "These are preliminary documents. A cease official notice. We're filing an elder abuse investigation with the state, and restraining order paperwork to be filed this afternoon." Sloane rushed into the hallway, still in her yoga pants, hair messy, makeup smudged. She looked at Marcus, at me, at Deacon. "This is insane. We let her live here. We've been taking care of her." Marcus pulled another document, slid it across the table. "These are bank records showing Mrs. Patterson has been paying you $400 per month in household expenses from a disability check of $1,100, leaving her with $700 for all other expenses, medication, clothing, personal needs." "We have a nice house," Sloane snapped. "It costs money to maintain. She should contribute." "The going rate for a room rental in Columbus, Ohio is approximately $500 per month," Marcus said. His voice never rose. "That typically includes utilities. You've been charging her $400 for the room, plus additional fees for water, electricity, and groceries. Do you have receipts showing what portion of utilities she actually used?" Silence. I didn't think so. Marcus pulled out more papers. "I also have photographs. Would you like to see them?" He spread photos across the table, the guest room, the bathroom, the mold, the broken window lock, my medications, receipts. Then the photo from this morning, my face, the handprint, purple, swollen, undeniable. Deacon's face went white, like all the blood had drained. "Mom, we can fix this," he said, his voice cracked. "We can talk about this. We can—" "Mr. Patterson, I strongly advise you not to speak." Marcus gathered the photos, put them back in his briefcase. "Anything you say can and will be used in court." The doorbell rang again. Marcus smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. "That would be the other members of our team." I walked to the door, opened it. Rhonda Washington stood there with a camera bag. Beside her, a man I didn't recognize. Behind them, a woman in a county uniform with a clipboard. Adult Protective Services, the woman said. We received a report of potential elder abuse and neglect at this address. I'm here to conduct an investigation. Sloan made a high-pitched sound, almost a scream. This is harassment! We'll sue! You'll do nothing. Marcus's voice cut through her panic. Interfering with an APS investigation is another criminal charge. Intimidating witnesses, another criminal charge. Do anything but cooperate fully, and I will ensure you face maximum penalties under Ohio law. Rhonda stepped inside, looked at me, at my face. Her expression softened with sympathy, then hardened with anger. Hi, Loretta, she said quietly. Then, louder to everyone, I'm Rhonda Washington, investigative journalist. I'll be covering this story for the Columbus Dispatch. Anyone want to make a statement? Deacon looked like he might be sick. A story? Elder abuse in affluent communities, Rhonda said. Successful children who exploit aging parents. How money and status don't prevent cruelty. Yes, I'm writing that story. The APS investigator pulled out her clipboard. I need to conduct interviews separately. Mrs. Patterson, can I speak with you first? I nodded. She led me to the living room. The nice living room with the white couches Sloan wouldn't let me sit on. We sat there now. Me, this woman with kind eyes and a county badge. She asked questions. How long? Living conditions. Safe? Threatened? Hurt? Neglected? I answered honestly. All of it. 6 months of humiliation, pouring out in steady, calm words. Through the doorway, I saw Deacon and Sloan in the kitchen. Marcus stood guard. Rhonda's photographer took pictures. Another car pulled up. I knew who it was. Vincent Torres walked through the open front door. Grown up, tall, professional, successful. But his eyes were the same. Warm, kind, nothing like Deacon's. He saw me in the living room. His expression crumbled. Mama Loretta. His voice broke. He crossed the room, knelt beside my chair, took my hand. His thumb brushed my swollen cheek. Gentle, careful. I'm so sorry, he whispered. I should have checked on you, should have known. It's not your fault, baby. It is. You raised me better than that. He stood, turned toward the kitchen. His voice went cold. Deacon, living room, now. Deacon walked in like a man approaching his own execution. Vincent stood between us, protective, the way Deacon should have been, the way a son should be. I pulled your financials, Vincent said. Want to tell your mother again how you can't afford to help her? How is money tight, barely making ends meet? He opened his briefcase, pulled out documents. Spread them on the coffee table. Investment portfolio, $1.3 million. Vacation house in Sedona, $450,000. Your annual income, $285,000. Sloan's income, $310,000. He looked at Deacon, really looked at him, like seeing a stranger. You have $600,000 in liquid assets. Monthly expenses total $9,000. Mortgage, cars, everything. And you were charging your dying mother $400 a month to sleep in your guest room. Sloan's voice from the kitchen, sharp, defensive. We have expenses. We have a lifestyle to maintain. Vincent didn't even look at her. You spent $4,000 at restaurants last month, $3,000 on clothing, $2,000 at the spa, and you charged Mama Loretta $50 for groceries she supposedly ate. Want to see the receipts? Because I have them all, every single transaction. The APS investigator wrote everything down, her pen scratched across the paper, fast, angry. Deacon sat down, head in his hands. I didn't mean for it to go this far. You hit her. Vincent's voice shook. You hit the woman who raised you. She worked herself into emphysema so you could go to college. Who gave you everything? You hit her because she asked your wife not to smoke in the house, not to kill her faster. I was stressed. We were both stressed. Mom was always complaining, always needing something, always. She needed oxygen, Deacon. Vincent's voice rose, broke. She needed medication. She needed basic human dignity, and you couldn't give her that. You made $600,000 last year, and you couldn't give your mother dignity. Silence. The APS investigator stood. I've seen enough. Mrs. Patterson, you cannot legally remain in this home. It's unsafe. Do you have somewhere else? She can stay with me, Marcus said. My wife and I have a guest house. It's empty. It's yours for as long as you need it, Loretta. I'll help move your things. I'll run the story tomorrow, Rhonda said. Front page, with photos. Unless, she looked at Deacon, unless you want to make a public statement. Take responsibility. Make restitution. Deacon looked up. His eyes are red. Everything. Marcus's voice, steel. Every penny she paid you, plus her medical bills, plus compensation for emotional distress, plus a public apology in the Columbus Dispatch, plus a legally binding agreement. You will never contact her unless she initiates it. Refuse, and we file criminal charges. Assault, financial exploitation, elder abuse, all of it. Sloan grabbed her car keys. I'm not staying for this. Marcus blocked the door. Actually, Mrs. Patterson, you are. The district attorney wants to speak with both of you. He's on his way. Sloan's hand shook. Keys jingled. The DA, a criminal matter now. They both had choices. I stood. My legs felt steady, strong. The APS investigator helped me upstairs to pack. It didn't take long. Everything I owned fit in 2 suitcases, same as when I arrived, but I was not the same woman. That woman was broken, desperate, grateful for scraps. This woman knew her worth. I picked up the photograph of Deacon, stared at it. That boy was gone. Perhaps he never existed. Perhaps I loved only an idea of him, a dream. I left the photo on the nightstand. I didn't need it anymore. 3 days later, I sat in Marcus Chen's office, a beautiful space, floor-to-ceiling windows, leather chairs, mahogany desk. Success looked good on him. He deserved it. They've agreed to settle, Marcus said. He slid a document across his desk. Full return of all household expenses, $2,400. Payment of all medical bills, past and future, estimated $30,000 annually. Public apology in the Columbus Dispatch. Permanent restraining order, 500 feet. And this. He turned to a page, pointed. They had to fund scholarships for adult children of elderly parents. $5,000 per year for 10 years. Mandatory elder care sensitivity training as part of their professional license renewals. I read the words, twice, 3 times. The scholarships. That wasn't my idea. It was mine, Marcus said, but you have to approve it, part of the settlement. The money helps other families, educates people, prevents this. I thought of other women, other mothers, who might end up in that cold guest room, counting ceiling cracks, shrinking themselves to nothing just to exist. Yes, I said, I approve. Marcus smiled. Good, because there's more. Sloan's pharmaceutical sales license is under review. Complaints about her treatment of elderly clients. Pressure tactics. The board is investigating. And Deacon lost 3 of his biggest clients. News traveled fast in Columbus. People don't trust their finances to someone who can't be trusted with his own mother. Marcus closed the file. Deacon wasn't ruined, but he was hurt, professionally, financially. I should feel happy, vindication, satisfaction. I just felt tired. Do I have to see them again, I asked. No, not unless you want to. The restraining order is permanent. They signed it. Violate it, and they go to jail. Simple. I stood. Marcus walked me to the door. Thank you, I said, for everything, for remembering. I never forgot, Loretta. 20 years ago. You saved my life. You helped me when I had nothing. You believed in me. His voice grew thick. This isn't close to repaying that debt. There's no debt between friends. He hugged me, careful, gentle, like I was precious. Maybe I was. The apartment Marcus's wife helped me find was small. 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. The kitchen is just big enough for a table and 2 chairs. But it was mine. Sunlight streamed through the windows. The heat worked. The bathroom had grab bars. A bath mat that didn't slip. I could breathe here. Vincent helped me move, bought furniture from his storage unit. A couch, television, lamps, things he'd been saving for someday. Someday was now. Mama Loretta, he'd said. Rhonda visited twice a week, bought groceries, sat with me, told me about her articles. The response to Deacon's story: other people are reaching out. Elderly parents are being exploited, hurt, erased. You started something, she said. By speaking up, by fighting back, you gave other people permission. I kept the photo of Deacon, not on display, in a drawer. That boy existed once. That love was real once. I needed to remember I wasn't crazy. I didn't imagine the good years, the sacrifices, the love. But I also needed to remember love wasn't enough. That sometimes the people we love become strangers. That sometimes, to survive, you have to let go. My lungs were still dying. That hadn't changed. But now I can afford my medications, all of them, on schedule. My breathing was better. Oxygen levels are stable. The doctor said I'd added years to my life, just by leaving that house, by breathing freely. Sometimes I thought about Deacon, wondered if he thought about me, regretted, missed me. But mostly, I didn't think about him at all. I thought about the birds outside my window, the cardinals at the feeder Vincent hung for me, the books I was reading, the shows I was watching, the friends who visited. I thought about the woman in the mirror, gray hair, wrinkles, a body breaking down, but with clear eyes, with dignity, with worth. That woman was enough. That woman survived. That woman was me. 3 weeks since the slap. 3 weeks since everything changed. I sat in my apartment, drinking coffee, watching the morning news. My phone rang. Marcus. Loretta, thought you'd want to know. The pharmaceutical board made its decision about Sloan. I set down my coffee. Suspended. 6 months. Ethics training, counseling. One more complaint, permanent license loss. And Deacon, his firm asked him to resign. Technically voluntary, not really. Severance package. He'll land somewhere eventually, but not in Columbus. His reputation here is done. I should feel something. Victory, justice, satisfaction. I just felt empty. Thank you for telling me, I said. Loretta, Marcus's voice softened. You did the right thing. What happened to you was wrong. You stopped it. You made them face consequences. That matters. I knew. After we hung up, I sat in silence. The apartment was quiet, peaceful, mine. The doorbell rang. I checked the peephole. Vincent, holding a bag from the bakery. I opened the door. You're early. Couldn't wait, he grinned, held up the bag. Croissants and good coffee. We sat at my little table. Sunlight streamed through the window. Vincent talked about his week, his case, his girlfriend, normal things, nothing to do with abuse or lawyers or justice. It was nice, simple, easy. You seem different, Vincent said. Lighter. I am lighter, physically and emotionally, I smiled. Turns out carrying resentment weighs more than carrying hope. That's philosophical for a Thursday morning. I'm a very philosophical 73-year-old woman. He laughed. We ate our croissants, drank our coffee, talked about nothing important. This was healing. Not dramatic, not cinematic, just quiet moments, safe spaces, people who cared. Before Vincent left, he hugged me tight. Love you, Mama Loretta. Love you too, baby. After he went, I sat by the window, watched the birds, counted my blessings instead of ceiling cracks. My phone buzzed, a text from Rhonda. Check your email. Scholarship fund is official. First recipient chosen. A 38-year-old woman caring for her father with dementia, going back to school for nursing. I opened the email, read her story, saw her photo. Smiling, hopeful, grateful. Something in my chest loosened, expanded, filled with warmth. This was why it mattered. Not revenge, not punishment, not even justice. Connection, purpose, making sure my pain meant something, made something, changed something. I forwarded the email to Vincent, to Marcus, added a note. Thank you for helping me help her. The afternoon sun slanted through my window, warm on my face. I closed my eyes, breathed deep. My lungs cooperated, mostly. They'd never be perfect. But they worked. They were enough. I was enough. The doorbell rang again. Not expecting anyone. I checked the peephole. Deacon. My heart stopped. Then raced. Then steadied. He looked different. Thinner. Older. Tired. The restraining order. He was violating it. I could call Marcus, have him arrested, send him to jail. I opened the door. Just a crack. The chain lock engaged. Mom, his voice broke. Please, just 5 minutes. You're not supposed to be here. I know, but I had to. I needed to. He stopped, swallowed hard. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I said nothing. I was wrong about everything, the way I treated you, the things I said, what I did. His hands shook. An envelope trembled. I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't deserve forgiveness, but I needed you to know. I needed to say it to your face, not in some legal document. I looked at him, really looked. Saw the boy I raised, saw the man he became, saw the stranger standing on my doorstep. You broke my heart, I said quietly. I know. You made me feel worthless. I know. You hit me. His face crumbled. I know. God, Mom, I know. I wake up every morning and it's the first thing, the sound, the look on your face. I hate myself for it. I hate who I became. Good, I said. You should. He nodded, wiped his eyes. Sloane left me, moved out last week, said I ruined her career, her reputation, everything. I felt nothing. Not satisfaction, not sympathy, nothing. The firm let me go. Clients left, friends stopped calling. Everyone in Columbus knows what I did. What kind of person am I? He laughed, hollow, bitter. I finally understand what it feels like to be invisible, to be nothing. Is that why you're here? For sympathy? No, I'm here because... He held out the envelope. This is a check for $50,000. It's not enough, nothing would be, but it's what I have liquid. For your medical bills, whatever you need, please. I didn't take the envelope. I don't want your money, Deacon. Then what do you want? I thought about that question, truly. What did I want from the son who broke me, betrayed me, choose a woman with perfect hair over the mother who raised him? I want you to be better, I said finally. I want you to take that sensitivity training seriously. Fund those scholarships with your whole heart. Look at every elderly person you meet and remember how you treated me. And I want you to do better, be better, for them, for yourself, for the memory of the boy you used to be. Tears streamed down his face. I will, I promise. I'll spend the rest of my life trying to make this right. You can't make it right. You can only move forward, and you can only do that without me. He flinched, as if my words struck him harder than his hand ever struck me. I know, he whispered. I know I lost you. I know I don't get another chance. I just needed to say I'm sorry, that you deserved better, that you deserve better. I know I do. That's why I left. He set the envelope on the ground outside my door. If you change your mind about the money, about anything, I'm here. I'll always be here if you need me. I didn't need him. Not anymore. He turned to leave, stopped, looked back. I love you, Mom. I know I have a terrible way of showing it. I know I destroyed everything. But I love you. I always have. I believe you, I said. But love isn't enough. Love without respect is nothing. Love without care is abuse. And I won't accept that anymore, from you or anyone else. He nodded, walked away, got in his car, drove off. I closed the door, locked it, slid the chain back. The envelope sat on my doorstep. I left it there. When Vincent visits tomorrow, I'd have him give it back, or donate it, or burn it. I didn't care. I didn't need Deacon's money. I didn't need Deacon's apology. I didn't need Deacon. I had myself. I had friends who chose me. I had dignity. I had worth. I had enough. Your value isn't determined by how others treat you. Your voice matters. Your boundaries matter. It's never too late to stand up for yourself. Sometimes the quietest people make the loudest impact when they finally decide to speak. To anyone fighting their own battle right now, you are not finished. You're just getting started. Your comeback is already being written. Stay quiet, stay sharp, and let your actions speak louder than their cruelty ever could.